Okay. Wait, are we even Facebook Live yet?
No, not yet. So,
yeah, must stand by us, If not, we talk all the way.
Okay, camera, silence on set. Wait, let me read my script first.
Check Joe.
Okay. Let it load a while. Welcome and thank you for joining us for our first ever MP Chit Chat session with Skyview residents via Facebook, live exclusively on the official Skybook Facebook group initiated by the Third Management Council. We do acknowledge the overwhelming responses that you guys have given us and all the positive feedback and responses. Okay, so it's me again, Teng, on our second video. And right now, I would like to hand over the mic to our very talented, capable Miss Angelina Ong, the chairperson of Skyview Management Council, to introduce our guests. Miss Angelina, please.
Hi everyone. Hello Skyview neighbors. How are you? Yeah, thank you for joining us on this Facebook live group chat. It is a milestone for all of us in Skyview. As you can see from all the posters around our estate, we are so grateful to have with us today our MP and grassroots advisor for BISHAN-TOA GRC, GRO, Mr. Chong Kee Hiong. Yeah, to chit-chat with us via FB Live exclusively on our Skyview official Facebook group. And we are all here today only because of Sky Neighborhood Committee, Sky NC for short. Yeah, Sky NC is under the People's Association, and we are very grateful for them in making this session happen. We had received overwhelming requests and responses for our residents for today's event. So we are so happy to have Advisor Chong, who agreed to come for our very exclusive Meet the MP session right here at your doorstep in Skyview. Yeah. So with us today, I just want to take a moment to explain who we have. We have Miss Josephine Kwek, the chair of our Social and Events Subcommittee and council member. She's also the auditor of Sky NC. And we have Miss Cynthia Kwek, who is the chair of our Bishan Sky Neighborhood Committee, Sky NC. And lastly, our guest of honor, Advisor Chong.
Hi, good evening.
Yeah. Sky NC very quickly has been a supportive partner, and we are very grateful for their generous sponsorship to the Skyview Chinese New Year event, which many of you attended. And as you know, we had a very fun lion dance. And for Sky NC's generous sponsorship of the Toast Box Kopi Van coffee giveaway, which was really a godsend, because of the restrictive circuit breaker phase 1 period. So we are so happy to have the Kopi Van right at our doorstep. And the complimentary issue of insect repellent to all residents. And this is very important in light of dengue. Yeah? And for today's event. The sponsorships, from Sky NC, that is kindly agreed, by our Cynthia, our chair. And of course, without the critical assistance of Joe, our council member, would not have happened. And what's the result? The result is a buzzing, cohesive community here in Skyview, where families enjoy the activities and neighbors become friends. So enough about that. We just want to start our session in proper. Please kindly note that the interview moderator for today's session is Miss Cynthia Kwek, the chair of Sky NC. And in light of the COVID-19 situation, that's the reason why we have actually, created this very creative and innovative platform, which is FB Live, so that every single resident can hear Advisor Chong directly. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Angie. Hi, everyone. Good evening. I'm Cynthia Kwek from Bishan Sky NC. Thank you for joining us this evening. Thanks. Advisor?
Yeah. Good evening, residents of Skyview. I'm Hiong. I'm Chong Kee. So glad to be here tonight. And I understand that you all have sent in some questions. I try my best to answer all of them. I may not have answers to everyone, but those we don't have, of course, we'll follow up and find out for you.
Thank you. Thank you, Advisor Chong. Well, this is our first Facebook Live together with our advisor, Mr. Chong, and SV residents. We thank you for the invitation. Today, we will be talking about the aspiration and hope for Bishan East Xingming community. We have classified the questions into 3 topics. Firstly, Bishan Master Plan. Second, issue faced by Skyview residents. And lastly, COVID-19. So now we shall proceed to our very first topic, sharing of Bishan Master Plan. Okay, because some questions are actually interrelated, so I will actually group it together. It's a bit lengthy. Okay, the question 1, construction works and timeline, especially area around Skyview Estate, especially the example, the empty plot of land, location and completion timeline of Bishan Polyclinic. If the plan of Junction 8 can provide a more diverse mix of retail merchants, example F&B, children enrichment, and etc. If more or expanded public facilities are planned to address the expected congestion problem from the upcoming BTO flat, example bus interchange, library, and more. Mr. Chong, please.
Sure. So, good evening again. Under the 2019 master plan, if you look at the master plan, all of us have access because it's a public document. The area around the MRT region, which is the few plots of land that you mentioned, basically a zone what they call sub-regional. When you mean sub-regional, means it has offices and ancillary facilities such as library, which you already have one, and also shopping mall, etc. So, and you probably is aware that we are going to have a polyclinic. It's in 2030. By 2030, we have one. We'll try our best to bring it, bring it to fruition earlier, but that's the timeline. So these few plots of land is very valuable, as we all know. So what will happen is that it will be a multi-agencies effort to have a master plan for this area. And then come up with, the tender requirements, tender specs before they actually open to the public. And I guess part of it will be the public. If you want to build offices and you want to build shopping mall, obviously it will be government land sales. And it may come with conditions. We do not know what kind of conditions, but it's likely to come with conditions. For example, the conditions may be to incorporate the bus interchange into it, or incorporate the polyclinic into it, or may even incorporate a hawker center. So it's across multi-agencies, and it's a long-term plan. Details are not out yet. So generally, it will take 5 years or more before you see any major activities. Yeah.
How about, Mr. Chong, how about the mall itself?
The shopping mall?
Yes.
Shopping mall, we have quite a few reviews, whether is it from Skyview or even for Bishan residents. Most of them say it's too small. It's too small and the tenant mix could be better. But of course, the Junction 8 Mall has always been very, very crowded and busy. Despite the, sub-regional, because being in this location, sub-regional. In fact, even during the COVID, other than the circuit breaker, the moment it's lifted, you can see suburban malls actually doing pretty well. And those that do well are generally the food and beverage, and then of course the retail. So the combination is always, I would say roughly maybe about 30 to 50% in food and beverage, and the rest in retail. When I say retail, it could be clinics, it could be spa, it could be banks, etc. So the mix of which, of course, is under the control of Capital Mall Trust, because it's under Junction is under Capital Malls Trust. Yeah. So of course, it's a demand and supply situation. There will be some who can't survive this COVID, unfortunately. So, and then the units will be vacant. But because of central location, J8, you really never see many vacant units for a long time, because another operator will come in. So that is how the mall would be. But if we are going to build more offices, I'm sure, there will be some requirement of shopping. But this plan is generally before COVID. So, of course, with this COVID situation, there's a lot of questions being thrown into the basket now, as in, would shopping be the same as pre-COVID? Would people really still want to go to shopping mall to shop? Or would they be so comfortable with e-commerce, e-shopping, that they rely less on physical shopping? So all these questions will have to be answered by the private developers who will actually tender for the piece of land eventually, and to see what kind of mix. Do they want to build more offices, or do they want to build more offices plus retail, etc.? So the verdict is not out yet. In fact, even for offices, there are people who say that now so many people work from home. So do you really still need such so much office space? Would there be a case of 50% of the people working from home, 50% in the office? So all this actually will be taken into consideration in the planning. And of course, when the tender is being called, the private developers will take all this into consideration to see what kind of mix they want to build for this piece of land. Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Chong. Okay, our next question is, if a hawker center is in planned, affordable food option, are we able to get cheaper food, cheaper drinks?
Yeah. So actually, you look around, there's about more than 15 coffee shops in Bishan East Xinmin area. And you look at the prices, they are generally $350 and upwards, excluding the aircon food court, of course, excluding all the junction edge stores. I'm talking about coffee shops and those food outlets that are non-aircon. You got about more than 15. So the prices are still affordable for this area. So once we build a hawker center, and then hawker centers now, the food is also generally about that price, maybe $3 upwards depending. So in terms of savings, I don't really see that there would be much. There may be some, but there would not be much. That's one. But of course, hawker center give us the variety, all in one location. So there's pros and there's cons. The pros, of course, we all know that we go to one place, we can have many types of food. We will enjoy the food. The con would be that if it's so successful, everybody will come here and eat and shop, and so the ambience of this locality may change a bit. I mean, that is something that we have to really seriously think. And also the other thing we have to think about is that now the coffee shops are spread out across the estate. So if an elderly or any one of us who wants to have a quick bite, we can just go downstairs or walk a few blocks, we can have some food. But when you have a hawker center, it must be one location. And if that is in one location, and some of these coffee shop stall holders may choose to move to this hawker center and operate, because maybe rental is cheaper and they can sell food about similar price or 50 cents to $1 lower. It makes more sense to them. So when they start shifting out, and if the coffee shop cannot find replacement tenants because there's more competition, then the convenience of the residents may be affected. So all these factors we will have to seriously think about before we come and put in a hawker center. But we all know there's 2 BTOs coming up, right? One is right next to you, and one is a bit further down near the BCA. So with increase in demand coming from these almost 1,500 units, apartment units, so the demand will go up, of course. So with this bigger demand, then we may be able to justify, we can have a hawker center, and yet the coffee shop will still survive. So that's something we have to pace. Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Chong.
Yeah.
Well, the next question is, most of the drivers are more concerned. Will there be a petrol kiosk in the plan?
I think the land here is too valuable to put a petrol kiosk. And because the residents are quite close together, so I think in terms of safety may not be that great an idea. Of course, the nearest petrol kiosk, we used to have one very near, but now it become RGS, right? So the other few will be along Ang Mo Kio Avenue 1 and one at the Shun Fu area. So I think it's quite good. It's really quite good. Yeah.
Okay, thanks, Mr. Chong. The next topic will be issue faced by Skyview residents. Road safety concern from speeding vehicles over the road bend just before Skyview main entrance and the road crossing to bus interchange along Bishan Street 15. We request a zebra crossing outside the main entrance at the road crossing to empty field. Also queries if the affected road can be widened.
Okay, zebra crossing, I understand from NG also is that there's a lot of requests for that, mainly to help especially the elderly cross the road. So we will work with LTA on that. In fact, earlier on they did a study and the conclusion was that actually it's not really necessary because the traffic is not that heavy. Yeah, and there's visibility for the pedestrian when they cross the road to see the oncoming cars. So, but we understand that sometimes the cars drive very fast when they make the turn. Then obviously alternative is to put regulating strips or even put a hump to slow down this vehicle for safety reasons. But to do that, it may affect the well-being of certain residents because the noise level may go up when the car go over the regulating strips, or sometimes they jam their brake to cross the hump. It may create noise for the residents that are around there. So all this we will feedback, work with LTA to see whether the zebra crossing is something that is a good balance. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Okay, the next question is dengue noise and smell pollution concern over the empty field opposite Skyview. Potential breeding ground and events Ke Thai concert. We request events to be limited to government initiative. Portable toilets and generators for such event to be located near to bus interchange, that means away from Skyview. We also request that the owner of the empty field here we refer to the HDB, to undertake the backfill, committed regular trimming of grass and misting, spraying, rolling to prevent potential mosquito breeding ground. Mr. Chong?
Okay, I think for the state land, if it's under HDB, there is a program to constantly trim the grass, backfill, etc. Of course, at one stage it was disrupted by the lockdown, and of course the lack of workers coming back on stream. But this has since been back, and also the wet weather the last month, so it actually caused some disruption. But that being said, because it's the dengue period, right? So a lot of effort has been put in for pest control. So despite the fact they cannot cut the grass, etc., or fill up the holes, they actually check to make sure the ponding situation there's no mosquito. They spray oil, they do misting, etc. This area, I think they do less of fogging because, as we know, fogging is not really the solution because it just push the mosquito to somewhere else. So the oiling of the drains, oiling of these ponds or depression caused by this sinking of land in the state land. All this is more important. Make sure that the mosquito cannot breed there. So rest assured, the agencies has a program to monitor this, especially during this dengue period. In terms of the events, I think it's quite sensible suggestion that all these portable toilets, everything to be moved away from the residents, generator and all those. Yeah. So we will remind the organizer to do so. Yes.
So the next question is status of shelter walkway from covered footpath area to interchange, timeline for completion, and whether a cap will be installed for both ends of the bridge across the road as well.
Okay. So the covered linkway is a pretty long linkway, and the fact that it's covered is really a bonus for the residents. So I'm very happy that LT actually covered that, because we know this covered linkway is only a temporary covered linkway. Because of the land, when they pass it out for tender subsequently, then this will be a condition to provide a path for the residents. So it may not be exact location, and yet LTA, is able to cover this. So that's very good. So if you ask them to do more to widen it or whatever, it's unlikely. In fact, the last time when they built, there's no shelter. Then we asked for the shelter. Then they say it's too dark. Then we ask for the lights.
Street lights, yeah.
But I think to further widening, all this may be a bit tough. So the last mile connection from the end of the covered linkway, sheltered walkway, to 514A, which is the food center, that is in plan. That were because of the COVID, as I mentioned earlier, the plan is delayed. We expect that to finish by end of this year. Yeah.
The next question, request widening of shelter walkway between the empty field and Skyview as it poses a risk to safety due to its narrow, wide and heavy usage by pedestrians and delivery riders.
Yeah. So as I said, I think it's a bit tough for them to extend because this location is a temporary location. So I think we all, as in all shared path, all users have to be a bit mindful. I think the faster vehicle or the faster person should always give way to the slower one. So if you are a pedestrian and you have said cyclist, I think the cyclist should slow down, right? And if you have a person walking and a person running, obviously the running one should take care, and avoid bumping into the walking one. And those walking ones should keep to the side. I think these are, all general practices that we should adhere to. Yeah. Oh.
Okay. Residents also concerned the next request is installation of shelter walkway from bus stop at the back gate to Skyview side gate.
Back gate. Your back gate is the one next to the bus stop, right?
The bus stop, the one that near to the side gate is Sky Habitat. From Sky Habitat, the side gate further down, that will be a Skyview side gate or rear gate.
When you say back gate is the bus stop back gate or the side gate to the main road?
Okay, the Sky Habitat back gate more or less linked to the bus stop. But you have to go further down, that will be the Skyview rear gate, or we call it a back gate.
Yeah, understand. So that one, okay, understand. This bus stop, right? Yes.
Yes.
So there will be a linkway covering from here to the traffic junction of Street 15. So it will be covered by LTA. Yeah. It will be covered from the bus stop to the traffic junction of Street 15. Yeah. So it will be covered. But of course, from the side gate, from your back gate, you call it rear gate, right?
Rear gate, yes.
From the rear gate to, it's not covered into your condominium. That one has to be done by the MCST.
Yes, correct. Okay. We have to do our own internal.
But outside it will be covered all the way to Street 15. Yeah.
Okay, Ken, thank you.
But the work will only commence in second half, 2021. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks, Mr. Chong. Request additional bus services, especially for one from the back gate bus stop to Bishan MRT. So far, we have 2 bus services.
Actually, Bishan MRT is quite near. So, and if you have the zebra crossing that link you across to the covered linkway and walk across the field, it's quite near. But of course, I understand there are people who have some mobility issues or maybe need some help, assistance. So you need to take a bus, this and that. But I guess the number of people versus the number of buses that ply this route should be sufficient. Because as you all know, if you detour another bus to come here and pick up and go, it will affect the rest of the passenger on the bus, in terms of the total time taken for the journey, etc. So you look at demand and supply at this moment. Let's observe a bit more to see whether really there's a lot of demand versus the time taken for the bus to come. Instead of increasing the number of buses, it could well be increase the frequency of the bus. Yeah. So that's something we can look at.
Okay. To request that MRT turn off or redirect the flight lights from the MRT depot at night, which is adversely affecting residents' rest and sleep, and also including flights to their unit balconies.
Yes, this is something that I think we can let SMRT know. In fact, there are some residents also mentioned, not in Skyview, but at some of the HDB flats further down. They also talk about the noise level. we understand that SMRT have to do their job as well, because testing of all these trains can only be done at night. So when we feedback to SMRT, they still have to test, but at least they are aware of it, and they take actions to reduce the noise level. So for this case, it's the light, so we will keep them informed, and I'm sure it should not be a major issue once they are aware. Sometimes they are not aware because they are shining the light out.
Yes,
but
right.
we'll let them know. We'll let them know.
Okay, thank you. Okay. Request LTA traffic management control along the road at MOE Language Center, which poses a danger to pedestrians, drivers, and residents, as it always packed during weekday evening and to be worsened with the upcoming BTO flat. Also query if the affected roads can be widened.
I think this road is quite busy, especially in the morning when they start dropping kids, the children off at Kuo Chuan, and also sometimes in the evening where there's religious events, etc. So I think you will, and the BTO is coming up. And for the BTO, generally when a BTO is being planned, HDB will carry out a traffic impact assessment study. Then they will analyze whether how many vehicles, estimate how many vehicles, etc., and the road capacity. And then they will have to actually prove to LTA that it doesn't overburden so-called the road system. If it is, then road widening, or other traffic management tools like zebra crossing, traffic lights, etc., all this will come in. So rest assured there will be a traffic impact assessment study for this area. And in terms of road widening, of course you have to wait for this study, but ongoing basis, I think we can get enforcement officers to come and help during this period. Yeah.
So they are asking, does that also apply to the widening of the roads in front? Because they are asking, we are sharing the road with Sky Habitat residents. That's about 4,000 plus residents.
Yeah.
So they are saying that the roads are too narrow.
Street 14, eh?
Yeah, Street 15.
15 as well. Yeah.
Because
In fact,
we are one road is servicing 5,000
It's
residents from Skyview and Sky Habitat. So we jam up the walkway here. That Sky Habitat residents are very angry. They will come after us. They will come after our guards and say why. So that's us asking whether they can widening the roads also.
So we will put this into LTA lah, because this one LTA have to assess the impact. And of course, I believe because it's zone sub-regional, right, where you will add capacity eventually, the road will probably have to be widened. But the question is, planning, which one come first? Okay.
Okay. So we'll go to the last topic, that is COVID-19. Status on reopening of the sport complex and swimming complex.
The sports complex actually open. You can use it. In fact, I saw residents using it. The pool is actually under renovation for the toilet. The toilet was quite bad shape. So we actually fed back to the Sports Council earlier on before the COVID. So they are estimated to open sometime late November. So probably November, December, the swimming pool will be open. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, the last question of this topic is a bit lengthy. If the current COVID-19 government policy can be extended to Merdeka generation citizens, that refers to age 60 to 69, or middle income citizens who own private properties, example, care and support package, workfare income supplements, workfare special payment, etc. Feedback is that it is seen as unfair to this group of middle income citizens who are not eligible to purchase a HDB flat due to income ceiling or other valid reasons. In addition, middle income citizens contributed more to income tax and thus to the National Reserve. Also, the Merdeka generation contributed much to our nation building.
I think these are fair suggestions. In fact, when the scheme first came out, the annual value test was about 13,000. So with feedback going in, they actually move up to 21,000, which covers actually a big part of the condominiums owner, as well as some landed homeowners. We will continue to feedback. In fact, a lot of schemes has always been using annual value tests. I mean, this is not the only scheme. I think over the many years, a lot of suggestion has gone in to say that, it's time to review whether we should use an annual value test for all these financial scheme. So while it may take time for them to change or to reconsider, I think short-term wise, our community also got together and set up task force, especially during this time, to see how we can help residents. So we actually have many task force. So directly relating to this, we actually started what we call middle income task force to look at what we call middle income sandwich class, whatever you term it. What are the challenges they face and what are the things that we can help them. The other one, or the one we have, is the Community Development Welfare Fund, which is in short is CDWF. This is a fund where we raise money from the public, the well-wishers, and we use it to help our residents who are in needs. So in current situation, we have asked this committee to actively look at people who needs help under current situation. It could be due to your annual value assessment, being rejected because of that, or it could be due to other financial circumstances where it also affect, middle income residents or any residents for that matter. So we are prepared to be more active and more, to come out with more schemes or more put in more money to help residents in need. So since I'm on this task force, maybe I also share a bit on the bigger environment, Bishan East Xingming. So other than these two task force, which is new for this year, we actually have a few other task force that was set up in so-called my previous term as a grassroots advisor. So we have an aging task force that looks after the elderlies. We look at what elderly's requirements are, and we try to meet them. For example, we have the Wednesday special, where every Wednesday we work with the coffee shops, stallholders to provide, say, coffee and tea at 50 cents and some type of food at $2. This is the whole idea of this, is to bring residents to come down together, see each other, chit-chat over a coffee or a simple meal. So that's the idea of that. And of course, the aging committee also set up the first community-based gym tonic. Gym tonic, as the name implies, is a gymnasium for elderly 60 years and above. Why 60 years and above? Because we feel that this is the group of people that need to build up their muscle strength, to improve their, for example, the ability to walk and stand, better. So it's a 3-month program. We have trainers that are professionally trained. Of course, we have to pay 3 months. I think the fee is about $180. Those who are unable to afford, of course, the community welfare will come in to help them. So for this $180, every week there will be a training session, and professional trainer, they can use the gym equipment, and the gym equipment is special, and of course it's all with technologically enhanced. So you see, when we go to the gym, we must always remember what is the weight that we carry last time, or how many repetitions we do. But for this gym tonic, all user will be given a card. So by tapping the card, straight away it will preset. It will set to where you have left off, and then you can continue from there. So you don't have to remember. And the card will, of course, remember how many times you have do, etc. And then you have a tracking mechanism, and they have a report card. Just like PSLE, right? When you first join, what is your how strong are you? What are the things that you need to work on? At the end of 3 months, you have a report card and say that how you have improved. So this has proven to be extremely popular. We have long waiting lists, and we have to prioritize the waiting list. We were looking at setting up another gym tonic at one of the void decks in Block 144. But because of COVID, of course, then we have to reassess again whether after COVID, do people still want to come together and go through this program? And if there is, then we will continue to do that. So there's just to give an example of the activities that aging committee looks into. We have a vulnerable committee, so they actually set up the programs to, for example, for dementia awareness. So we educate, say, the stallholders, people at the People Association, the staff there, to identify residents who may have signs of dementia and see how to help them. So we want to build a dementia-friendly community. We have they also started the Equal Start program. Equal Start program is meant to help the children from lower income families to get free enrichment classes, such as dancing, chess, taekwondo, etc. The reason is there's a lot of programs that help the lower income group in academic, tuition, etc. So we have that as well. We call it a peer mentoring. Not only academic tuition, we also teach them about life development skills, right? So in addition to that, we felt that it's important that these students should also benefit from enrichment classes, CCA, enrichment. So we work with the tenants of Bishan CC to bring all these free enrichment classes to these children. Okay, so in addition, we have a committee we call the Technology Committee that helps all this committee how to do things better, more efficient. We also have a outreach committee, how to reach out to our residents more on all the various programs. And we have an environment committee, we'll look into all the sustainable practices. So we encourage, residents who are interested in this field, let us know, let Angie know, or let Cynthia know, and we can, of course, we welcome and to include you into this committee to serve the residents. Yeah.
Since Mr. Chong had touched on the task force, maybe Mr. Chong, you would like to share regarding about the employment initiative at Bishan East Xingming?
Okay. Yes, employment is a big issue. It's an important issue to all of us, basically, right? So with this COVID, we do see that this situation is getting more tense, more difficult. We have started a satellite career center, SG United Jobs and Skills Center, right, at Bishan CC. It's on level 2 since 15 August last week. And this center actually provides basic advisory services, career advisory services. They give some guidance on how to apply for the SG United jobs, which is we have this 100,000 of these jobs and the package. And also give some information on what WSG E2I can help you. And we also have employers doing interview there, either physical or using the technology, using PC and all those to interview. So we encourage any of you who needs it, who need these services, to go down to the CC to register your interest or to talk to a so-called advisor on this. And you'll be surprised because some of these training program lasts 6 months to 1 year, and if you are put onto this training program, you get paid about 1,000 to 1,500 per month, while you are undergoing training, and this training will enable you to have some better skill sets, so that when the economy recovers, these skill sets come in handy to help you with the jobs. And of course, then we have, some people ask, hey, what happened if I sign on a course for 6 months, 12 months, 2 months later I find a job, how? No penalty, you just stop the training and you move on to the job. And for those on placement, that means you join a company, it may be a temporary job, it may be a contract job, it may be a traineeship program. My suggestion is that go for it. And when the economy recovers, once you are in that company and you prove that you can do the job, when the economy recovers, the company needs to hire permanent staff or have other roles, I'm sure they will consider people that they are familiar with and know. So I do encourage, if you do that, even though it's temporary, because it's a placement, it's a 1 year placement, 9 month placement, do take it up. And of course, on the 28th of this month, which is a Friday, there will be a job fair. So do come down for this SG job interview as well. Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Chong. We will pass some of the Skills Future information to the MCST to assist us in publicizing to the residents. Thank you for that. With that, we end our session here.
I'm sorry, Advisor and Cynthia, is it okay if I just ask a few?
Sure.
Yeah, they just want to seek clarity.
Yeah.
So they are asking, number one is, so the progress, okay, I understand that. So they are asking for the Linkway. Can you please show the Linkway to the main entrance?
Yeah.
Where's our main entrance? Yeah, can you show,
I know.
advisor?
I know where is that. Yep. Thank you.
So they're asking whether the one that is next to
Here.
our,
Yeah.
is that
Okay.
possible to have a covered walkway there?
Okay. So usually for LTA to consider a covered walkway, the whole idea of LTA is to provide seamless sheltered walkway as much as possible. Their starting point is 400 meters radius from MRT station. Why 400 is just a number, because it's 400 for every MRT station in Singapore. So they just started that. It could be due to resources or based on 400 meter is a comfort distance for people to walk to the MRT. So that will be the priority to cover up all these places. So beyond that, they will look at case by case basis and see the accessibility. So for this case, for them to connect to the main gate, they would want you to connect from your main gate to your building. So the whole idea is if you want to shelter a resident all the way to MRT, it must be from your condominium. So from a condominium, walk out sheltered to the main road, and then main road they shelter. But if that connectivity within the condominium is not done, LTA will not connect, because to them is I connect to your main gate also no use, because you still get caught in the rain, because from the main gate walk to your apartment block is not sheltered. So a few condos has also asked for the same thing. So the condition is always that you do your part to connect from the internal, then they will connect from the external.
LTA coverway.
So do we need to find the compatible vendors and specific dimensions?
Not really. You don't have to. Yeah.
Thank you. And then the next one, if I may, they're asking where's the polyclinic?
Polyclinic, they just say Bishan, right? Because we managed to finally convince them that there's enough capacity, especially with the 2 BTOs coming up, to have a polyclinic on our own. If not, we have to go to PAYOH or Ang Mo Kio. So there's not many pieces of land left in Bishan. And for polyclinic, for convenience of everyone, I believe that it will be here lah. It will be around here, as in here. When I mean here, it should be near the transport hub, which is the MRT there.
More of the central area.
Yeah, it should be in the central area.
They are complaining about Junction 8 loading is very noisy at midnight.
Loading.
Can we, because they have the products shipped, the loading, and it's very noisy to us.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, let us feedback to the mall owner and inform them. If you have a bit more, give us the more specifics like what time and what kind of noise. It could. I believe it's the dropping off of goods and all those things. So we see how to manage the noise level or the hours of exposure.
Okay. So we end our session here. We would like to take this opportunity to thank our advisor, Mr. Chong, for being with us this evening, and members of MCST, Angie, Josephine, and the rest, and even the MA staff, Teng and Valerie. Thank you for that. And a big thank to all SV Skyview Facebook viewers. I shall hand over to Angie. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Glad to be here, and hope I give you a bit of insight of what's happening in this area. Thank you. Good night. Good night. Good night.
Thank you so much, Advisor Chong, and of course, Ms. Cynthia Quare, for taking time off your busy schedule. I hope all of you have actually witnessed, how helpful our MP is. He has conscientiously tried to address each and every single question and feedback that we have. And he has gone into details as well, right? And we trust him. He's committed to, talking to the various authorities, on our behalf, with regards to our requests as well. So thank you. Then in this case, we just wanted to also, extend a token of appreciation, to advisor for coming all the way to Bishan Skyview. You know, we should be very proud of Skyview residents. You know, it's not every day that you see our MP coming right to our doorstep, you know. So I think this is a great achievement, you know, for all of us, and it's also because of our collective voice. Not one resident, but many, 2,500 of us, you know, in wanting to, you know, like air our views directly to our MP. And for our MP to be so gracious, you know, in coming today. You know, it takes a lot of courage to come all the way. So thank you so much, you know, Advisor Chong.
Yeah. Thank you, Angelina, for having us, and thank you, Cynthia, for moderating this. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Chong.
Yeah, thank you. So it's one top of the, yeah. So Advisor Chong, this is a very special poster for you. Is this your first FB Live chit-chat session?
Yes, probably so. Because we do Zoom. We usually do Zoom chat. Facebook Live is first, other than during the what do you call it, the GE
Skyview, this is FB's first FB Live.
This is the very first FB Live, yes, you're right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Then, Joe, so we'd like to invite our council member, Joe, to present, you know, a token of appreciation to Cynthia. She's our biggest supporter, and I am personally so grateful, you know, to Cynthia for coming every single event, you know, like to support our residents. We welcome you anytime, okay, for
Free coffee.
Yes.
Free coffee.
So that's for you.
Great.
Thank you.
You're here. You're here. You come now. You just come now. Come now. Come now. Come now. Sorry for one more surprise.
It's okay.
Come now. Yeah, because we got another surprise. We just wanted to. So we just wanted to share this with you because of the Sky NC, you know, like grassroots, you know, like support. We have actually had the benefit of, you know, the results are very clear and advisor. We are so grateful. I keep repeating myself, but it is really true. You know, our life improved so much, you know, ever since Sky NC came to help us, right? Our residents are, you know, we wanted to have the kampong spirit, where neighbors become friends, right?
Yeah.
And because of all these, you know, activities, we've become a very cohesive community.
Very good.
Yeah, and our children really enjoyed the activities for Chinese New Year, for when you were here, right?
Yeah,
the
lion dance.
the lion dance was so good.
The lion dance, the dragon dance, it was good. Every year we do come. Either Sky Habitat or, you know, Sky View. Yeah, it's okay, don't worry. We are very relaxed.
Yeah, that's right. So sorry, we just the children wanting to come to thank you.
Sure. No,
I'm so sorry. With children, you cannot control them. So
Correct.
so they're coming a bit so sorry for that. Yeah. But in the meantime, I just wanted to check. So widening of roads not possible, right?
At this moment, it's a massive work. So it's quite difficult. I must be honest. So what we will do actually is to feedback to them and see whether they can bring forward in their planning, because we are going to do the sub-regional, right? So they must have a plan. So we need to understand their plan first, and then from their plan we see how to work with them to bring forward some of this.
So you mentioned that the commercial land, is it
Yes.
here? Is that
Yeah,
correct?
it's actually the whole thing.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
And this was our wish list, you know.
Yes,
we wanted
I
to
saw.
have the
I saw that. Yeah,
zebra crossing. That's right. So we do hope that. Can we please ask you, how long is the timeline? Is it going to be 1 year, 2 years, or
For which one?
for if we really want to do a zebra crossing?
No, zebra crossing, if they assess it, is very fast for drawing the zebra crossing, but they have to do the traffic studies. We have to convince them, because I believe that they have done one study earlier. So we have to find out from them what is the reason why they think it's not a good idea.
So when you say fast,
but once they agree, it will be very fast. So we need to get their agreement that this is something that is they should do. Because if they do this here, Habitat will want one also, and then you will have a lot of start stop for the traffic. So it may affect the flow of the vehicular traffic.
I see. And then the last question, if I may, they were asking about the MOE. Can LTA send a traffic warden to go and scare the drivers off?
Yeah. Okay.
Can they do that?
So it's, yeah. Usually, if there's they don't obey the traffic rules, it's against the traffic rules. Then of course we should get the enforcement officer to come down.
Oh, they
Yeah,
can,
yeah.
right? So we
Of
can
course.
request, right?
No, we can. I mean, if there's
thank
you are saying that, but of course, if it's just normal waiting, I mean not waiting queuing up to go in, that's normal But if there's illegal stop there to wait for people and all those, then that's different. That's enforcement issues already.
Oh, I see. Sorry. What happened to Asher? Oh, not Asher. Sorry. I don't think I want to make you all wait too long. It's okay. So the children cannot come. Sorry. Sometimes our
it's
children,
okay.
you cannot force them. Yeah,
Okay.
but this is the little boy,
Bye. Yeah.
who have enjoyed, like the kopi van.
Oh, yes.
For the 3 days he was here. Yeah, so he actually, played, with the kopi van every day.
Oh.
Yeah, for COVID-19, phase 1, it was so, yeah.
That's
So,
right. That's the kopi van.
yeah, so we wanted to show you the impact that you and your team have created, for us. We are very, very grateful to that. Yeah, thank you,
Thank you, Angelina. Thank you.
Oh, so sorry, that was a surprise also.
Yes.
Ajo lai. We wanted to present a token of appreciation to you. Yeah, without Josephine, there is no Skyview, all these activities. Yeah, Josephine is our council member and chair of our social subcommittee. Yeah, so I actually wanted to prepare this surprise for you.
Thank you.
Finally, sorry. Sorry,
It's okay.
You got
You see in the same uniform. Yeah, it's same clothes.
Yeah, and then we have a fireman for you also.
They're the same.
Yeah, and there's a fireman for you also. Yeah.
So cute.
So, thank you. How old are your children? Can I just use this one to present to you again?
Yeah. I have 4 boys.
Wow! Wow,
My eldest is already 22.
Ming,
Yeah.
also Ming. Come in, Ming. Yeah, this is the fireman. Can you say hello to uncle?
Hello.
Say hello to uncle. Yeah, can you say hello to uncle here? Say hello. Yeah, give uncle the photo.
Who is this? Is this you? Wow.
There's a fireman here.
Fireman is here. Fireman is here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So can you give uncle the frame, please? Be careful, don't drop it, please.
Mic away.
Okay.
I can see the
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, then you stand up with the advisor.
Say hello. You
Say hello. Say hi to the camera.
Say hello. Say
hi.
wait.
Wait.
Hello. Yay. Say good evening.
Emergency.
Emergency,
Emergency. Look at
Policeman and fire.
Yeah,
Firewoman.
yeah. Say hi, uncle.
Hello. Who is this? Koko.
Okay, stop.
Okay, everyone, thank you so much for joining us for this event. We hope you have enjoyed it as much as we did. So have a good evening and we'll see you again. Thank you.
Bye bye, love. Bye bye. You must bye bye. Say bye bye.
Bye.